My name is Trey Mangum, and this is Shadow and Act's Opening Act. Each week, we sit down with some of your favorite Black creatives in Hollywood to discuss how they made it in the entertainment industry. This week, we're sitting down with Trevor Jackson, who you know for his roles in Let It Shine, Growin-ish, and more. Growin-ish is on its third season currently on Freeform. We asked Jackson to reminisce a bit about his time on Broadway. He first got his start as young Simba in The Lion King.
So some things that I specifically remember is the people. And it wasn't even like the acting or the talent of these people. It was just them, their spirits. I felt like anybody that was in that space in Lion King were just so creative and so just like loving and energetic and outgoing in a sense. And it like, I'm so thankful for that I was able to grow up around that. And I love being that person in the room, you know, the person that, you know, isn't afraid to be themselves and really, so that's something I really took home with me, you know, for the rest of my life. But then also the talent level, these people, you know, are stretching hours and hours before the show, you know, the ladies putting their legs up over their head. It just was, you know, discipline and hard work. And we had like 8 shows a week, you know, and as a kid, we only did 4, but depending upon the other Simba, if he was sick or not, we'd have to do all 8 shows. And I was 8 years old. So 8 years old to 11, I was doing that. At the end, I remember they told me I had done like 824 shows or something. And yeah, I think just the hard work, man, the work ethic is something I really took with me. And in terms of acting, yeah, I mean, great actors in the show. And me, the good thing about doing the same thing, well, it's a gift and a curse because you don't want to do the same thing over and over, but doing the same show over and over really gives you the ability to kind of play around with stuff. And, you know, when you're doing the same scene, you're like, maybe I'll try it a little more like this, or maybe I'll put a little more emphasis on this, or maybe I'll try and think about this time and wonder how that comes out. So it's always interesting to see, because also what I've learned about acting, even today, I'm still learning. What I think you're seeing is not what you're seeing. So it's like, sometimes in my head, I'm like, in order to them to feel this, I have to make this face or I have to do whatever. But it's like, that's my version of what I think that emotion would look like. So it's really interesting that when you know, people could, like, I've tried different things and they were like, whoa, that was, you know, I was like, whoa, I wasn't even thinking. And I actually was, when I watched, when I did American Crime, sorry, I'm jumping ahead real quick. When I did American Crime, Tim Hutton, I remember I would watch him and I was like, why is he doing it like that? And then I saw the show back and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. Like when you know the camera and when you know like what you're trying to convey, you know, in person, sometimes it doesn't even look like that's what you would do. And then you're seeing it later, like, oh, that's why he was doing it like that. So that's interesting.
Since you brought up American Crime, we could talk about American Crime. It is honestly one of my favorite shows of all time. I love a good anthology series where the topic changes from season to season, but the theme is still the same. And your season was my favorite seasons just because I felt like the subject matter was so heavy, but you were still able to empathize with every character.
That's how a good show should be, you know?
Yeah.
Even, that's something I admire about it as well. Like, and I just think that the audience should always be able to see all sides. And I think the world isn't like that. That's why I think it's important that shows are like that, because, you know, we're so quick to judge and we're so quick to jump to conclusions and so quick to just, you know, it's either black or it's white. This person's out or they're that. And there's so many layers and so many things that play into people and their development. And so I'm very, very appreciative of that. And I just love that you love that about the show, because that's what I love too.
Yeah. So what was the experience like working with, you know, people like Tim Hutton and Regina King and Andre 3000? You know, Regina and Andre actually played your parents in the show, which I'm sure was cool. But what was that experience like, and what did you learn from them while being on that show?
It was amazing. I'm going to bring up a little fun fact. One cool thing I learned about Andre 3000 is like he likes to draw. And I like to draw a little bit too. I'm not very good, but sometimes I'll do it. And what he'll do is he'll like close his eyes and put his pencil on the paper and like just do like a 2-second like something crazy, random. And then from that, he'll draw his picture.
Wow.
I thought that was super duper interesting. And I do it now sometimes when I just have nothing to do. I'll like, you know, and just trying to make something out of it. But it that kind of translated into just like life. Like, you know, it's not going to be maybe exactly what you want it to be all the time, and you make something beautiful out of it. That's your job as an artist. And he didn't say that, but that's just what I took, him kind of giving me those tidbits. And then Regina, I mean, both of them, just watching them work. And like I said, a lot of the time, the main thing I picked up was when they weren't even working, is just the poise and the grace. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just really, really inspiring. I like how Regina asked a lot of questions when we were shooting. She wanted to just be clear. And I like that because sometimes I feel like I'll just go with the flow because I'm a good guy and I want things to go well. But sometimes you need to know exactly what's going on so you can do your best job. Mm-hmm. So I really admired that too about her. Working with John Ridley, he pushed me. And at first I was like, I didn't understand it. I was like, why? Why does he want me? And then when I saw it again, I was like, oh, this is why, Mm-hmm. So I love that he made me uncomfortable. I love that he made me do things that I didn't typically do or didn't want to naturally do, kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone. So that was super. The whole American Crime experience is the only reason I'm still acting today. Wow. I was going to quit. I was over it. I was sick of it. I was like, I never wanted to act again. I forget what, I think it was, I don't know, was it Snowfall? It was something. And I had auditioned like 8 or 9 times. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it was like me and 2 other people were sent to Network, and Network was like, we don't like it, recast the whole thing. Wow. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want that. And so I got a call, and I was like, yeah, I just want to focus on music. And then we got a call to do American Crime, and my mom was like, you got an audition? I was like, I'm not going. She's like, Trevor, just go to this last one, okay? Just go to this last one. I was like, fine. I didn't even look at the script, bro. Didn't look at it, didn't study it. Got into the room. I cold read. I was like, you guys have a script? They were like, you didn't look at the script? I was like, no. So do you have a script? And they gave me a script. I'm reading off the page, not even putting nothing into it. They're like, oh my God, so we need you to come back for Network. Is that okay? After my audition, I was like, what? That's never happened to me inside of the room. Yeah, you're going to come back for Network. We're going to need you to read for Network. And so I came back, auditioned for Network, and then that's how I got it. But
wow.
It was just wild. Story. That's crazy, right? I was like, what the heck? So when I was there watching John Ridley do that and the way he just directed, the way he would talk to people and, he was just precise and he didn't have to yell. It was very much like in your ear, like, hey, can you, and I'm always intrigued by people that are different than me, I'm like, I'm like this, why do you go about life like that? Like, what do you know what I'm saying? And that's when you do realize what they do, then you put that in your toolbox. So if you need to, be on set someday. And so now, I direct a lot of videos and I always try and pull from every experience I've had to convey a certain message. So yeah, I thank God for American Crime because I wouldn't have done nothing after that. I was done, but that definitely brought me back.
And as an actor, you talked about being cast in a pilot and then it got recast. I see so many times that in the trade publications, they'll report like a pilot cast or like who was the initial cast for a project. And then like a lot of people don't know when you see a project on screen that it's went through so much before it gets on that screen and it may look totally different. So as an actor, how does it feel to deal with like rejection sometimes and, thinking that, yeah, and feeling like you're gonna be in a role, and then suddenly things go different. Because I think about it so much because I know that Snowfall was like that. I think The Chi was like that. So many shows that they get developed, they get sent to the network. Networks like change everything, and then there may be like 1 or 2 people left.
Right.
At the end. So since you've experienced that, what does that feel like?
I've experienced that twice actually. Without going into detail, I'll tell you. There's another project I did. And this was different from Snowfall because Snowfall, we never shot anything. It was just John Singleton, RIP. He was like, yo, you got the chops, man. You know what? And then he was like, it was me and like 2 other people he sent up to networks for them to whatever. So the other project I did, I actually booked it. And then I had fittings for it. And then, I'm in clothes, whatever. And then I was shooting something else. And the other thing I was shooting, I'll just tell you guys have seen it. It's Burning Sands. I was shooting Burning Sands. And they had told me, we're not going to cut your hair. And I was like, you guys can't cut my hair. I have another movie I have to do, please. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, okay, he's just going to go a little bit off the top. And we shot that scene. where they're cutting our hair, and he really cut my shit, and I was like mad, and I couldn't be mad because I'm in the scene. I was like, are these mother serious? I mean, nothing I could do after that. So they cut my hair, and then word got back to the production, whatever, and they were like, oh, we want to see him again. We need to see him again. So I fly all the way somewhere, have to re-audition with like the wardrobe and like some clothes on, and didn't get it. And then they're like, oh no, we need someone else. He's not the same. He's not the same.
Dang.
Because the hair changed. So I still got paid though, which is good. But
the silver lining there.
So got a free check. But yeah, dude, that was a crazy experience. You know what I'm saying? Like really thinking that you're about to do something, and then right before, no, sorry. So that happens often.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people have been revisiting the Disney Channel original movie Let It Shine, because there have not been that many Black-led Disney Channel original movies. You know, you think about this one, you think about Jump In with Corbin Bleu.
Yeah, Up and Away is one of my favorites.
Up and Away, yeah, that's one of the originals. And then I guess as far as diverse cast, you can think about, you know, things like the Cheetah Girls movies, things like that. But as far as like fully primarily Black cast, it's one of the only ones. So when you were making that movie with Tyler and Coco, did you think like at the time, wow, this is going to be a part of history, because there's never really been anything like this?
Absolutely not, which is strange. But it's not strange because I was a kid, you know, I'm not thinking that big, you know.
Yeah.
I was 15 years old. I was screaming my butt off because I was in a Disney movie, and that's all, you know, from ages 12 to about 16.
Yeah.
11 to 16, I was only watching Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Jack and Cody. Yeah, I was that guy, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all I want to do, I'm going to meet Hannah Montana. It's going to be my wife. That's what I thought was going to happen. I was joking. But yeah, no, so I think that's the beauty of a lot of projects that I've done, though, is that I never realize how heavy they are. And I think that helps me be able to perform properly and not perform with pressure. You know, even Growin-ish, like didn't expect for it to be as educational as it is, even for myself. I learned so much from that show. So I think that's beautiful, and that's how I always, you know God is around, because it's kind of like, even when I'm not paying attention, it's putting me in the right room, putting me in the right project, something that is going to have an effect and impact, and is in alignment with what I want to be, who I want to be. You know, I want to shake up the world. I want people to think differently. I want people to, you know, just try a new way and love more and unite more. So Let It Shine is a product of that, not only being all Black, but we're talking about God, you know, on Disney Channel. I think that was something super cool. And that became my family, you know. Tyler's my brother, Coco's my sis. Like, it was a very, very amazing experience for sure. I had a great time.
And as you were a teenager doing that project,
a decade ago, bro. A decade.
It's so long ago. Like, you know, because I think that I was a little bit older when that came out. I think I may have been like maybe 18-ish, maybe like 19, but I remember, like, because my period at the time was the Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Cody, That's So Raven, period. And I was thinking, dang, I wish I had that when I was that age and I was actively watching Disney Channel. I wish I had that. So it was really good to see that happening. But as a teen actor, what's something that you've learned as an adult actor over time that you wish you would have known when you were acting as a child and a teenager?
Oh man, I don't watch stuff when I was young. It's so funny. It's like I'm like, oh, you're trying, little buddy. You were doing it. You could do. That's the worst thing. Even now, like even stuff from months ago, if I watch, I'm like, God, I feel like I can always do better, always fix something. And that's what I mean. It's like per case. Like every time I see something, I'm like, oh, just adjust that. And it's, you know, they're becoming minor now, but you know what I'm saying. It's like I just think there's always a way to be more real. And I think when I was young, that was my I think I tried really hard when I was a kid, you know. And I feel like even a lot of auditions, that's why I didn't get, because I wanted it so bad, and I'd be so like nervous and like scared. So I'm like, you know, but the minute that I stopped giving an F about the people watching me and I'm like, you guys need me, that energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
it all changed. I started booking things, and it doesn't have to be an FU to the people behind the camera, but it's more of like, we're equals. You're not the gatekeeper to my destiny. Like, you don't hold the keys to my life. Like, God, you're not a God. And I'm a person, you're a person. We're both here to do a project. If you need me, you need me. If not, cool. There's other jobs. And, and so that energy, I had to grow into that energy, because I used to be very much like, please,
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people like that who are grown, who are still like that. And I'm like, yo, you just can't, no one else runs the show but you.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it'll really affects performance. It affects performance. It does. So yeah, I think I don't want to change my life, but if there's something that, I could have, given some advice, it was like, yo, you're good. It's fine. It's okay. Cause and I'm like that to this day. I want to do a good job. I want to be great. I want to execute. I want things to look right. I want to, but also, the best things are the most natural things, the most real things.
This week's Black Entertainment Trivia Fact. Who was the first Black woman to play a lead role on a television drama? Was it Nichelle Nichols, Ethel Waters, or Diane Carroll? Find out the answer next week on shadowanact.com. There are like these whole Instagram accounts that are dedicated to things that are specifically from like the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And there'll be like people reminiscing all day on these accounts with clips from these old shows. I think I even saw, I can't remember, maybe it was, it may have been Casey Undercover that was on one of the accounts. And I was like, people really, remember and reminisce about all these shows that came on during their childhood, which is why Nickelodeon, Disney, even I guess Cartoon Network, the shows that are on those networks is so important because they are in those formative years of our lives, Yeah,
absolutely, dude. They really were. I want to speak to something that I think can be important to anyone who, again, we were kind of talking about like gatekeepers in a way, or just feeling like, I just feel like success should never, like your want for success should never trump who you want to be. And a lot of people for success will be lesser than, or not even lesser than, just a different version or not them. And coming from someone who, has been fairly successful in this realm, this acting realm and music realm or whatever, I just want to say this because it's like, it just shows that there's not one way and there's not only one way. So when I did Let It Shine, and after I did it, I had a meeting with the head of Disney and all the executives up there. And they're basically like, we want to give you the keys to the kingdom. We want to give you your own show. We give you everything you want, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, dope. What about my music though? And they were like, yeah, no, that'll probably be like secondary. And I was like, no. And so I remember I like sang in there and they were like, that's good, it's great. But, we're going to focus on the shows and focus on, the clothes and the dolls and all this stuff. And I was like, and mind you, I'm 15, 16 years old, moved out to LA with my mom. We don't have a lot of money. This is supposed to be. And I remember we got yelled at by people on our team. This is the biggest opportunity everybody's always wanted. And you just have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your vision, trust who you are. And again, and I love Disney. I still work for Disney. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's just staying true to your path. And your path, there's no right version of a path. It's just your path that's right for you, So if you feel it in your gut, if you're doing stuff and people want you to like, maybe not be exactly who you are, or want you to maybe love something else more, or whatever it is, if it doesn't align, don't do it. And it turns out even better. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking in a similar vein, what advice would you give to, aspiring creatives dealing with seeking validation, whether that's from, fans or whether that's from the Hollywood institution? The Golden Globes just happened recently, and there were a few historic wins from Black creatives, but overall we were mostly shut out. And thinking about how can we reconceive what success looks like for Black people in this system, what would you say to that?
Okay, so this goes even deeper than entertainment. This goes to us as people, and not just Black people. I mean, just human beings, right? now every time I do an interview or do any type of talking, I'm telling anyone that's hearing this, you go to therapy. Okay, that's number one. Go to therapy, talk to people about all of your wants, all of your needs, all your failures, whatever it is that you feel like you can't say, you need to go to therapy. Or if it is, you just went on a walk today and you want to talk to someone about it. I think it's so important to think out loud and to talk through things out loud. And I say that because people have a lot of trauma, unacknowledged trauma, or people have a lot of, pressures that they don't even know exist. Societal pressures, you have cultural pressures. There's so many different ones. And so I'm saying that to say that we search for validation from partners, from love, search for validation, and we'll be friends with maybe people we don't even like, but just so we can have somebody around, or, all of these patterns. And then that'll translate into your creative, and you'll stop creating to be accepted because you have everything you have for yourself. You have self-love. That's something that I've been working on heavily this year, and I think is super duper important. And it translates, dude. We live in a society where we want to look good, and we want people to think that we look good, and we want our lives to be great. And it just becomes everything is coming from the outside in, and then it goes back out. It's like you're the filter of everybody else's opinion and information, and then you're trying to present that. And everything should start here and go outward as a creative and just as a person. So in terms of projects that you're working on or scripts that you're writing, you can't make it for anyone else. Because if you make things for everyone, then everyone is responsible for your happiness. Everyone is responsible for your fulfillment. It's even like with my music, people will tell me, hey, do it like this or write it like this. And I'm like, yeah, I would if you were making it, but you're not. And if it comes out and it's not the way I want it, it'll hurt me forever, for the rest of my life, because it's something that I said was mine that wasn't mine, and that's super important. So if it's yours, it's yours. And I think we just, because it's already happening. I mean, some things just when they're so, I just feel like us as a people, we're relentless in a way of it's not even like we're trying to do anything. We're great. We're great at things. So you just keep seeing somebody doing something great. The door's going to get wearing down. The hinges are going to get broken, and, all these things. And so I just say, let's focus on amazing, amazing work. And what we think is great, what we think is moving, what we think makes our hearts bigger and what brings us together. Because people, at the end of the day, regardless what color they are, they're human. And if you watch a human story in your heart, there's nothing that you can do. It's like, you'll see people who are like, damn, I can't believe I'm even affected by this. But it's like, yo, we're all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it, dude. And I know that there is a lot of, powers that be that wish it otherwise, but it's inevitable. What we're meant to do, and what we have been doing, and all the things that exist because of us that no one knows exist because of us. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, history is funny, but but yeah, dude, I think congrats also to all the Golden Globe, that the winners. That was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of good projects.
Yeah, a lot of good projects. There's something I was gonna say and I'm forgetting it, but go ahead.
So, thinking about you, I think around the past, I guess 3 to 4 years, you had Growin-ish, you've had 2 big movies with Burning Sands and Superfly. Speaking specifically of Superfly, reflecting on that, I think it's been about a couple years out since that was released. What are some reflections that you have on that experience? It was a studio film that you were in a lead role in. What are some reflections that you have on that movie? And did you have any sort of hesitation when taking on the project because it was a reimagining of the classic film?
So I was I fought for that role. They did not want me for a minute, and I was let me. Because
you were also very young in comparison to
exactly.
Yeah, Ron O'Neal.
That was like the main thing. That was like, he's a kid, and I was like, but guys, come on, I can fight. You know what I'm saying? No, but dude. So I'm trying to think like how that started off. First, let me talk about my reflecting on it. I thought it was Okay, let me start from the beginning. So, got the audition, went in, it was cool. I just read, and then I auditioned again, and it was for X, and he was like, he wanted me to read the role of Juju after I read. And I read it, and I was like, okay. And obviously, it wasn't hitting because I didn't feel connected to it the way I did Superfly, you know? So, yeah, so then I ended up, I was like hitting up my agents. I was like, what do they want? They want me to get some wrinkles? I'll go get some. What do we need to do? Because this is mine. I want this. And so I remember Joe Silver had called me to his house to read. That's what I thought. I was going to go there and read. This is like the final step, you know. I'm walking in, there's pillars all through the house. It's just, you know, one of the biggest houses I've ever seen. I'm like, you know, there's a damn fountain in the middle of the living room, like coming, and I'm talking like those fountains that you throw coins in, like at the mall, like big old fountains. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm walking in there, and I get over to, you know, the like little living room area, and the little assistant lady, she's like, okay, Joel will be out in a sec. I was like, all right, so I'm sitting there, I'm chilling. And he comes in, he's barefoot, got his shirt off, not shirt off, shirt on, got some like shorts, and has a little iPad, and doesn't even look up, has his glasses like looking at the iPad, and he just walks into the living room. He's like, so you want to be in this movie? And I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, I just wanted to see you in person. So you're in it. I was like, what?
Wow.
What? He was like, yeah, no. He was like, I know you can do it. He's like, you know, people have their doubts, and that's normal, but you know, I see it, and I think you can nail it. Blah blah blah. I was like, cool. So he sat me down, and he's showing me, you know, the little promo teaser that they had put together, and I was just still tripping out because he told me I was in the movie, and I couldn't really quite believe it yet. And I was like, what the heck? I remember I got in the car, I was like, crying, calling mom, we got it, Dave, we got it. You know what I'm saying? So super cool experience, dude, and that was a big one. And I wanted to do it so badly because my dad used to make me watch that movie when I was way too young to watch that movie. And I didn't get it. Obviously, I was a kid. I was like, Dad, why do they keep putting sugar up their nose? Like, I don't know what they're doing, Dad.
Oh, my gosh.
And, you know, so, but the way that he talked about it and wanted me to watch it that badly, that kind of connection to a project, and that it stayed with him that long, you know? And I know if it hit him like that, he's not the only one. There's a lot of black men out there who were older but were younger at the time and who were really affected by this film. And it made them feel freaking fly, you know? Made them feel like, yo, I can go wherever and I'm the shit, you know? And that was like what I was attracted to. I was like, yo, that's such an amazing moment, especially in a time where, you know, everybody told you were dirt and that you weren't anything. You could walk around and be like, I'm the flyest nigga on the planet. What's up? You know what I'm saying? And that just energy, I was like, oh, this is, okay, tight. So I really wanted to do that, partly for my dad, partly for myself. Yeah, shooting that, man, was awesome. Jason Mitchell, that's a brother of mine. And so working with him, that was freaking awesome. He acts his butt off. Working with X, working with Joe Silver, Scotty, Andrea. Yeah, a lot of just good people, and it was an amazing experience. And the martial arts I got to do was a dream of mine as well. When I was a kid, I used to just watch Blade and Matrix. Those were like my top two. So I was like, anytime I can fight in a leather jacket and in slow motion, my dreams would have been made. And I got to do it. So I was tight.
Yeah. And switching gears to Growin-ish, you know, initially, you know, a spinoff of one of the most successful comedy series that's been out, I guess probably the last decade, one of the most successful comedy series. And then this spinoff has kind of developed into its own thing with its own cult following, and you all are seasons in now. What does it mean to you about the representation that Growin-ish provides? You know, we haven't seen, you know, a diverse population of students on a college campus. Not too many times on TV. You know, we have Dear White People, but other than that, there's not that many other representations that we can look for. So how does serving as this beacon of representation feel for you as an actor? And also, did you expect all of this when, you know, the Backdoor pilot aired on ABC back years ago?
So no, I did not expect it. I knew it was going to be dope though because of the people that were involved, but I did not expect it to be, And when I say not expected, I don't even mean how people receive it. I mean when I get a new script and it's that amazing, you know? Like, those are the things. It's like, yo, wow, this is really freaking good. I'm like, and I don't like reading, you know, I don't really read the script unless it's table read, and then I like look at it right before I'm going on set. So I'm just as surprised as the audience is, you know, when I'm seeing things for the first time. I'm like laughing in the table read. They're like, clearly Trevor didn't read the script. I was like, it's tight, yo. I'm like, I like feeling it. I like feeling it right then, and it all hitting me at once, you know. So what your first question was, though, how the representation, how does it make me feel as an actor? It makes me feel amazing. It goes back to what I was saying before in a sense of doing it. I don't feel like that, which is why I think I'm allowed to play it the way I'm playing it, you know, without as much pressure, because, you know, thinking about that holds a lot of weight. And then you're like, yo, with everybody that has ever been a young black man in college is watching me, and of course that's in the back of my head, but if it was at the forefront, I feel like it would definitely change the character, and I might try to do too much or maybe not do enough. So I try to stay as free as possible when playing a role. But like I said, Aaron has educated me, dude. Just his life, his story, a lot of his information. I'm educated every time I do an episode when it's like heavily, you know, on him. And I'm thankful that I get to play a role like that. You know, that's like me in another life. That might've been my avenue. Like, you know, my life now is I'm trying to do all of the same things he's doing, but through music and through acting. And I'm a little more subtle than he is, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely am just as passionate and ambitious about changing the world and not folding. That's what I love about Aaron, is he doesn't fold, you know? And I feel that way, like with my creatives, and whether it's my videos or anything, I'm like, I'm going to do it like this, and I don't care. And this is how it has to be. Why? Because anybody that wants to make a video or wants to do anything, I want them to make it their way, you know? And I want them to know that it's okay, because, you know, there'll be people out there who's like, no, everything must be like this. And then you're just going to get, what is the fun of the world if everybody's doing the same thing?
Yeah.
You know, well, that's the beauty of life, is that everybody sees the world differently. And, you know, they bring something new to the table. They bring something that inspires something else, that creates an entire civilization of a better life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. But these are all possible if people work again from the inside out and stop trying to take everything they've seen already. You know, nothing wrong with being inspired, but, you know, be you.
Trevor Jackson talked to us about his experiences in the industry, his experience as a singer and an actor, and he gave candid thoughts about diversity in Hollywood. Thank you for listening to this week's opening act with Trevor Jackson. Be sure to give us a review and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You can watch this interview in full, as well as other exclusive content on lunchtable.com. Create an account and watch all sorts of Shadow and Act programming, such as Shadow and Act Live and Reel It Back. Until next time.